that.
Cam Calder.
Thank you very much, Mr Chair. It's gratifying to hear the accolades from all around the House for the Minister who's been working on this bill. Commending the Honourable Maurice Williamson for his work on this long-standing problem. An Englishman's home is said to be his castle. In New Zealand's home may be a whare, a whale, a crib, a batch, a villa, a bungalow, an apartment, a townhouse, a stand-alone modern home. And it was the last three, the apartment, the townhouse, the stand-alone modern home, built from the early 90s through to about 2005. Out of this monolithic cladding, it allowed remarkable shapes to be created and built relatively cheaply, and for a while there it seemed to be an interesting addition to the materials available to the home builder and home buyer and designer and architect and the like in the profession. But towards the end of the 90s it became increasingly evident that there were significant problems with this building material, and it went on for a number of years, largely ignored in fact by the previous government. In 2002, as late as 25th of November, Helen Clark famously told News Talk ZB host Paul Holmes that she'd not taken much notice of the newspaper's numerous stories about leaky homes because the Herald was well known for banging on about issues of no substance. Her comments surprised Prendos director Phil O'Sullivan at the time, who commented that he'd been campaigning for 4 years to stop the problem. And he said he was so surprised that the Prime Minister was so badly informed. Mr Speaker, Mr Chair, the problem was evident, but no problem or no solution to the problem was found. There were some attempts under the previous government, but really when we came into power, one of our fundamental decisions we made was to fix a problem which had tens of thousands of New Zealanders living in cold, damp homes harbouring mould and fungi. With the Stachybotrys was mentioned by the Minister and also Honourable Member Sue Kedgley earlier. A mould and fungi which can have appalling effects on a family's health. I mean, a safety and security of body and soul, of family and property are the fundamental underpinnings of Maslow's hierarchy of human needs. A safe and secure weathertight shelter is fundamental to the physical, emotional and economic well-being of all New Zealanders. Mr Chair, along with other members of the Select Committee, I've met a number of owners of leaky homes and looked into their faces. I'm reminded of the lines from an old song. The lines on my face reflect the wrinkles I've ironed out in my life. Mr Chair, I've looked into the face and the eyes of those people that we've seen in Select Committee, others I've seen out in the community, and I have heard their stories. They were heartbreaking. They were heartbreaking. I've looked into their faces. I've seen pain. I've seen rage. I've seen deep sadness. I've seen frustration. Mr Chair, I've seen despair. The estimated, some say 30,000, some say 50,000, others say 80,000 leaky homes, Mr Chair, are not mere wrinkles in the lives of owners so affected. They represent deep, fundamental, savage, wounding assaults on their very quality of life. As I said, the stories we heard, and I think all members of the Select Committee would agree, were heartbreaking. And this financial assistance package outlined in this bill is designed to bring tens of thousands of New Zealanders hope and a way forward from an appalling and untenable blight that is damaging thousands of lives. As the Minister mentioned earlier, the causes of this problem are many and varied. And this is not about a time to apportion blame. This is about a way forward. And the solution is made on a collaborative and no blame basis. We believe it's a fair and effective package, and we aim to spread the costs as evenly as possible. I commend this bill to the House.
There are a number of questions, and we'll deal with the amendments first. So, with regard to Part 1, the first amendment is Phil Twyford's typescript amendment to Section 125B. The question is the amendment be agreed to. Those of that opinion will say aye. Contrary, no.
No.
Noes have it. Party vote. Clerk will conduct a party vote.
New Zealand National.
58 votes opposed.
New Zealand Labour.
41 votes in favour.
Green Party.
8 votes in favour.
ACT New Zealand.
5 votes opposed.
Māori Party.
3 votes opposed.
Progressive.
1 vote in favour.
United Future.
1 vote opposed.
Honourable Chris Carter.
1 vote in favour.
Any other votes?
The ayes are 51, the noes are 67. The amendment's not agreed to. We move to Phil Twyford's amendment to omit Section 125E. That's set out on SOP 253. The question is the amendment be agreed to. Those of that opinion will say aye. Contrary, no.
No.
Noes have it.
Noes.
Party vote. The clerk will conduct a party vote.
New Zealand National.
58 votes opposed.
New Zealand Labour.
Just a point of clarification, sorry, Mr Speaker, we're voting 41, and I think on the first SOP we voted 42.
You voted 41.
Perfect, well 41 again.
Green Party.
8 votes in favour.
ACT New Zealand.
5 votes opposed.
Māori Party.
3 votes opposed.
Progressive.
1 vote in favour.
United Future.
1 vote opposed.
Honourable Chris Carter.
1 vote in favour.
Any other votes?
Ayes 51, noes 67. The amendment's not agreed to. We move now to Phil Twyford's amendment to Section 125F as set out on SOP 250. Question is that the amendment be agreed to. Those of that opinion will say aye. Contrary, no.
No.
Noes have it.
Ayes have it.
Party vote. The clerk will conduct a party vote.
New Zealand National.
58 votes opposed.
New Zealand Labour.
41 votes in favour.
Green Party.
8 votes in favour.
ACT New Zealand.
5 votes opposed.
Māori Party.
3 votes opposed.
Progressive.
1 vote in favour.
United Future.
1 vote opposed.
Honourable Chris Carter.
1 vote in favour.
Any other votes?
Ayes 51, noes 67. The amendment is not agreed to. Phil Twyford's amendment to insert Section 125FB set out on SOP 250. The question is the amendment be agreed to. Those of that opinion will say aye.
Aye.
Contrary, no.
No.
Noes
Ayes
have it.
have it.
Party vote.
Called.
Clerk will conduct a party vote.
New Zealand National.
58 votes opposed.
New Zealand Labour.
41 votes in favour.
Green Party.
8 votes in favour.
ACT New Zealand.
5 votes opposed.
Māori Party.
3 votes opposed.
Progressive.
1 vote in favour.
United Future.
1 vote opposed.
Honourable Chris Carter.
1 vote in favour.
Any other votes?
Ayes 51, noes 67. The amendment is not agreed to. Phil Twyford has an amendment to 125G2 set out on SOP 252. Question is the amendment be agreed to. Those of that opinion will say aye.
Aye.
Contrary, no.
No.
Noes have
Ayes
it.
have it.
Party vote. The clerk will conduct a party vote.
New Zealand National.
58 votes opposed.
New Zealand Labour.
41 votes in favour.
Green Party.
8 votes in favour.
ACT New Zealand.
5 votes opposed.
Māori Party.
3 votes opposed.
Progressive.
1 vote in favour.
United Future.
1 vote opposed.
Honourable Chris Carter.
1 vote in favour.
Any other votes?
Ayes 51, no 67. The amendment's not agreed to. The question is that Part 1 stand part. Those of that opinion will say aye. Contrary, no. The ayes have it. The question now is that Part 2 stand part.
Mr Chairman.
Maurice Williamson.
Mr Chairman, very briefly, because Part 2 is about the smallest you could ever get in legislation. It's really just 2 clauses, and it's just to do with consequential amendments to in relationship with the Public Finance Act. Consequential amendments to the Public Finance Act. This section amends the Public Finance Act. The definition of public security in section 65D2 is amended by omitting or the Crown Retail Deposit